When you face a problem, remember that it is not yours to solve alone. The moment you shift your focus from the issue to the awareness of a solution already unfolding, you enter a higher state of mind, one where everything you need is already in existence. The world is shaped by your beliefs and expectations. What you hold in your heart is true. What you feel is already accomplished must manifest in your world. Do not worry, for worry is simply a mental habit that focuses on the absence of a solution, giving power to the very thing you fear. When you worry, you affirm that the problem is bigger than the possibility of resolution. But you have the power to turn that around. The key is to live in the knowing that whatever challenge stands before you, God, or the greater force that is the essence of all creation, has already solved it. Your job is not to figure out how it will happen, but to trust that it already has. Each moment is an opportunity to affirm the truth: you are guided, you are supported, and there is a solution. The moment you stop resisting the circumstances and allow yourself to feel the assurance of the outcome, you are stepping into alignment with the infinite power of the universe. This power does not respond to the noise of doubt, fear, or uncertainty, but to the quiet confidence that everything is unfolding perfectly. This is not about passivity, but about trust. You do not sit idle waiting for something to happen. Rather, you become active in your trust, in your belief that your desires are being met in ways that may not yet be visible. Trust that, in the unseen, all things are being brought into order. Your role is to hold the vision of resolution, the belief that the situation is already handled. Do not let worry control you. It is not necessary, nor does it serve you. Instead, move through your life with the knowing that every challenge will meet its solution in its own time, and that you are divinely cared for every step of the way. When you find yourself facing a problem, it's crucial to shift your focus from the problem itself to the awareness of a solution already in existence. This is not about pretending the challenge isn't there or ignoring the facts, but rather changing your mental approach. The moment you acknowledge the solution as being already present, you begin to align your mind with the natural order of the universe. The problem exists only in your perception, but the solution exists in the larger, unseen reality that is always available to you. It is the belief that what you desire is already accomplished, that the answer is already known, and that the solution is merely waiting for you to recognize it. When you focus on the solution, you stop feeding the problem with your energy and attention. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, and instead you take on the mindset of someone who knows that all things are working together for your good. The solution is already unfolding, and by shifting your focus, you allow it to manifest effortlessly. You don't need to know how it will happen. The process is none of your concern. Your job is to simply live in the state of knowing that the answer is there and that it is yours to experience. When you focus on the solution, you are no longer tied to the limitations of the problem, but rather you begin to walk in the confidence that everything you need is already available to you, just waiting for you to recognize it. Your beliefs shape your reality, for the world around you is a reflection of what you truly hold in your heart. The power within you is not bound by external circumstances, it is dictated by the thoughts and feelings you continuously nurture. If you believe that a solution is possible, you are aligning yourself with the natural flow of creation. When you hold the belief that all things are working in your favor, you begin to experience life as though everything you need is already in place. This is not a distant hope, but a present knowing. The external world is nothing more than a mirror of your inner state, and it responds to the images you impress upon it. If you persist in the belief that a challenge is insurmountable, you are simply reinforcing the presence of that challenge in your experience. But when you change your belief, when you consciously decide to believe in the solution before it appears, the universe must reflect that shift. It must bring into your experience what you truly believe is possible. It is not the facts that matter, but your perception of them. When you change your perception, the facts begin to change as well. What you hold as true, what you feel to be real, will ultimately manifest. It is not enough to just say the words. You must feel and live as though the solution is already present. Your beliefs are the unseen forces that shape everything around you. Trust in this power, for it is the key to unlocking the life you desire. When you believe that the solution is already on its way, you begin to see the world through the eyes of possibility, and the universe begins to respond in kind. Worry is a trap, a mental state that only serves to reinforce the very problem you seek to avoid. It is not the solution, but the magnification of fear and doubt. When you worry, you are in essence telling the universe that you do not trust its ability to bring about a favorable outcome. Worry keeps your mind focused on what you do not want, and in doing so, it attracts more of the same. The more you worry, the more you give power to the very thing you fear. It is vital to realize that worry does not help, nor does it change anything. It only disturbs your peace and clouds your judgment. The key to overcoming worry is to shift your focus, to remember that everything is unfolding in perfect order. The answer is already in motion, and worrying about how or when it will arrive only delays your experience of it. The moment you let go of worry and trust in the unseen forces at work, you release the resistance that keeps the solution at bay. Instead of worrying, affirm that all is well. Affirm that the solution is already on its way, and you are simply waiting for its arrival. By doing so, you align yourself with the flow of the universe, which operates without worry, and you invite the resolution into your life. When you stop worrying, you allow the divine intelligence to take over, and you open yourself to the infinite possibilities that already exist. Trusting the process means knowing deep within yourself that whatever challenge you are facing is already solved in the higher realms of consciousness. The solution does not depend on your understanding of how or when it will manifest. It is not for you to figure out the details, but rather to trust that everything you need is already in place, working towards your good. Just as a seed is planted in the earth and knows instinctively how to grow, so too do the solutions to your challenges already know how to unfold in the perfect way. When you trust, you cease struggling with your circumstances. You cease trying to force outcomes and instead rest in the belief that the universe or God's wisdom is already moving in ways that you cannot yet see. The key to trust is to stop focusing on the how and embrace the what. What you desire is already manifesting, it is already being brought into being. Your trust, your faith, is the magnet that draws the solution closer. When you trust, you shift from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. You stop seeing yourself as limited by your circumstances and instead recognize the infinite power working on your behalf. Trust is not a passive state, it is an active decision to let go of control and allow the divine plan to unfold naturally. It is the knowing that everything is happening exactly as it should, even if you cannot yet see it. Trust the process, for it is a process of creation, and you are part of that creation. The more you trust, the more you invite the solutions to flow freely into your life. When you focus on the solution rather than the problem, you are shifting your energy into alignment with what you truly desire. The universe does not respond to your focus on what you lack or what is wrong, but rather to your belief in what you have already received. The solution is already there, waiting to be recognized. It exists in the realm of possibility, and the moment you focus on it, you bring it into your experience. Too often we spend our time analyzing the problem, running it over and over and over in our minds, as if that will somehow bring us closer to the answer. But in truth, the more we focus on the problem, the more we energize it, and the further we move from the solution. The power lies not in dwelling on what is wrong, but in trusting that the answer has already been provided. By focusing on the solution, you are affirming that it already exists and that it is already unfolding in perfect harmony with your life. When you focus on the solution, you begin to see new possibilities. You start to notice the opportunities and insights that were always available to you but were previously obscured by your fixation on the problem. The solution, like a seed, must be nurtured with your attention. When you focus on it, you give it life. You are not waiting for the answer to appear, you are living in the knowing that it is already here, working in your favor, and all that is needed is for you to accept it. The more you dwell on the solution, the less room there is for worry or fear. Your mind becomes a magnet for possibilities, and what you desire will naturally come to you, guided by the power of your focus. When you give attention to the answer rather than the issue, you move closer to the life you wish to experience. Focus then, not on what is lacking, but on the fulfillment of your desires, and you will draw that fulfillment into your life. Living in the knowing is not about wishful thinking or hoping for something to happen. It is about a deep, inner conviction that what you desire has already been accomplished. To live in the knowing means to feel in every fiber of your being that your desires are not a distant dream but a present reality. You do not wait for evidence to appear. You know without a doubt that it is already here in the unseen realm, and it is simply waiting to be revealed in the physical world. When you live in the knowing, you no longer question the outcome or second-guess the process. You walk through life with a quiet assurance, trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if your physical senses have not yet caught up. This knowing is a state of being, a mental and emotional alignment with the truth that everything you need is already provided for you. It is not an anxious waiting, but a peaceful acceptance that the solution is already in motion, and that you are merely witnessing its manifestation. This inner knowing is a powerful force. It aligns you with the natural flow of the universe, where everything works together for your good. It is a state of confidence that transcends external appearances and taps into the limitless potential within you. The more you live in the knowing, the more your reality conforms to your inner belief. You do not need to seek the answer. You know that it is already there, and that understanding gives you the peace to let go and allow it to unfold. Living in the knowing means trusting the unseen forces at work, knowing that everything is in divine order. You do not worry about how the solution will come. You simply live with the certainty that it already exists, and it is only a matter of time before it manifests in your life. This knowing opens the door to endless possibilities and empowers you to move through life with grace, knowing that all is well. Confidence in the outcome is a powerful force, one that can shape your reality in ways you may not yet fully comprehend. When you are confident that the solution is already yours, you move through life with an assurance that everything is aligning perfectly, regardless of external appearances. This confidence is not based on what you see in the physical world, but rather on a deep inner conviction that the universe or divine intelligence is always working in your favor. When you carry confidence, you emit a powerful energy that draws the outcome you desire closer to you. Confidence is not about arrogance or ego. It is about trusting in the unseen power that is always guiding you. It is the belief that no matter what, the solution is already here, and you are simply stepping into the experience of it. This confidence opens doors, clears paths, and dissolves any resistance that may arise along the way. Confidence also frees you from doubt. When you are confident in the outcome, you no longer second-guess your path or question your decisions. You trust that every step you take is in alignment with the greater plan, and that every challenge is an opportunity for growth and expansion. With this confidence, you rise above the noise of uncertainty, trusting that you are already on the right path. The power of confidence lies in its ability to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desires. When you are confident that the solution is already in motion, you become a magnet for the circumstances, people, and opportunities that will bring that solution to fruition. Confidence is not passive. It is an active force that creates the conditions for your desires to manifest. It is the knowing that the universe is already at work, and you are simply cooperating with its natural flow. The more you trust in the outcome, the more you open yourself to the endless possibilities that lie ahead. When you release control, you are essentially surrendering to the divine order of the universe. The act of surrender is not a passive resignation, but an active release of the need to dictate every detail of how things will unfold. You do not need to know all the answers or have every step mapped out. The universe is always working on your behalf, arranging and aligning the circumstances that will bring your desires into fruition. When you surrender, you stop trying to force outcomes, and instead you allow the natural flow of creation to take over. To release control means to trust that what you desire is already in motion, even if you cannot yet see the evidence of it in your physical world. You no longer feel the need to make it happen because you trust that it is already happening. The solution is already provided, and all you need to do is allow it to come to you without interference from your own limited perceptions. The moment you release the need to control, you free yourself from the resistance that has been keeping the solution at bay. Surrender does not mean giving up or settling for less. It means having the courage to trust that what is meant for you will find its way to you. It is an act of faith, a letting go of the need to understand how everything will work out, and instead trusting in the wisdom of the universe. When you release control, you align with the greater plan that is always unfolding in your favor. This surrender opens the door to miracles, as it allows the infinite possibilities of the universe to flow freely into your life, unhindered by your own doubts or limitations. When you stay aligned with the end result, you are stepping into the power of manifestation. To live as if the solution has already arrived means to embody the state of fulfillment right now. It is not enough to merely wish for the solution to appear. You must feel and experience the reality of it in your imagination and in your heart. The end result, the solution you desire, is already a part of your consciousness. When you align yourself with that truth, you begin to draw it into your life. To stay aligned with the end result requires you to disregard appearances and focus solely on the desired outcome. This means letting go of any doubts, fears, or uncertainties that may try to creep into your mind. The end result has already been created in the invisible world of thought, and your job is to remain firmly rooted in the knowledge that it is already done. In the moment you align with that truth, the world around you begins to shift in harmony with it. Living in the end is not a distant goal, but a present truth. It is a state of mind and being that you can embody now. When you act, think, and feel as though the solution has already arrived, you become an active participant in the unfolding of that solution. Your reality begins to bend and shape itself according to the images and beliefs you hold. By staying aligned with the end result, you are calling it into your experience, as the universe must reflect your inner state. The more you live in the end, the more the conditions will mirror your belief, and you will witness the manifestation of the solution in your physical world. When you embody the belief that it is already solved, you step into the frequency of its solution. The key to manifestation lies in knowing that your desire is not something far off in the future, but is already present in your consciousness. The solution, the resolution, is not a distant event waiting to occur. It is already a part of your experience in the realm of imagination. When you accept this truth, you align yourself with the very energy of the answer, and it begins to unfold before you. This belief is not based on outward circumstances or external evidence, but on the inner conviction that what you seek has already been granted. The moment you shift into the knowing that it is already done, you stop looking for the solution and begin to live from the place of its completion. You do not need to search or worry about how it will happen, because the universe works in ways that you may not fully understand, but which are always for your highest good. By embodying the belief that the solution is already yours, you activate the creative forces of the universe. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions all align with this truth, and in doing so, you become a magnet for the fulfillment of your desires. The more you embody this state of already having what you desire, the more it will materialize in your life. This is the law of creation, that what you believe and feel to be true will inevitably manifest in your reality. The belief that it is already solved is the key that unlocks the door to your desires, allowing them to flow freely into your experience. Now stand firm in the understanding that the solution has already been provided. It is not something you need to chase or struggle for. It is already here, in the unseen, waiting for you to align with it. When you live from this truth, you release the burden of worry, fear, and doubt. You surrender to the divine order, knowing that everything is unfolding in perfect timing. Trust in the process. Stay rooted in the belief that it is already solved, and you will witness the transformation of your circumstances. The power to manifest your desires is within you. It is not external forces that determine your reality, but your inner state, your thoughts, your feelings, and your unwavering belief that what you seek is already yours. Embrace this truth and step into your power. Know that you are supported by a limitless, unseen force that is always working for your good. You do not need to understand the how or the when. Simply trust that it is already done. From this moment forward, live as though the solution is already a part of your life. Feel it, experience it, and know it to be true. When you do, the universe will respond, and everything will fall into place, effortlessly and with grace. God's plan for you is already in motion, and all you must do is align with it. The worry, the fear, the doubt, they have no place in your mind. The answer is already here. Trust it, embrace it, and watch your world transform. Father, I come before you not as one in need, but as one who already possesses. I rest in the assurance that every desire planted in my heart is already fulfilled in the invisible realm. I know that you are not separate from me, but are the very essence of my being, the divine creator dwelling within me. I do not need to beg, for you have already given. I do not need to struggle, for you have already provided. I do not need to question, for you have already answered. I quiet my mind now, releasing every thought of fear, doubt, and worry. I turn inward to the stillness where you reside. In this sacred space, I feel the reality of my desires already accomplished. The solution is not something I seek, for it has already been given. I surrender to this truth, knowing that your power flows through me, as me. I align myself with the divine order, trusting that everything is unfolding in perfect harmony. Thank you, Father, for the gift of imagination, through which I create and experience the fulfillment of my desires. I see the life I long for in vivid detail, and I feel its reality in my heart. I no longer wait for evidence in the physical world, for I know that my inner world is the true reality. What I believe I will see. What I feel I will experience. What I accept as true in my imagination will manifest in my life. Father, I release all control. I release the need to figure out how or when. I trust in your divine wisdom, knowing that you see the entire picture while I see only fragments. I rest in the assurance that you are orchestrating every detail for my highest good. Even when I cannot see the path, I know it is there, perfectly laid out before me. I trust you completely, for you are the creator of all that is. I feel the solution now, Father. I feel it deeply in my heart, as though it has already happened. I feel the joy, the peace, and the relief of knowing that it is done. I dwell in this feeling, allowing it to fill every corner of my being. I do not waver, for I know that to waver is to doubt, and to doubt is to deny your power. Instead, I hold steady, anchored in the belief that all things are possible with you. Father, I am grateful for every challenge, for every obstacle, for every moment of uncertainty. I know that these are not barriers, but opportunities for me to grow in faith and trust. They are reminders to turn inward, to return to you, and to rest in the truth that I am never alone. You are with me in every step, in every breath, in every thought. Your presence surrounds me, upholds me, and guides me. I declare now that I am free from all worry. Worry has no place in my mind, for I trust in your divine plan. Fear has no hold on me, for I know that your love casts out all fear. Doubt cannot touch me, for my faith is unshakable. I am rooted in the knowing that all is well, and that everything I desire is already mine. Father, I affirm that I am worthy of every blessing. I do not need to prove myself or earn your favor, for your love is unconditional. I am worthy simply because I am. I am your creation made in your image, and therefore I have access to all that you are. There is no lack, no limitation, no separation. All that is yours is mine, and I claim it now with confidence and gratitude. I rest in the peace of knowing that you are the source of all abundance. There is nothing too big or too small for you. The solution I seek is already known to you, and you have already made it manifest in the unseen. I open my heart to receive it now, fully and completely. I do not question, for I know that questioning creates delay. Instead, I accept with gratitude and certainty, knowing that it is already done. I affirm now that my life is a testimony to your power and grace. Every step I take is guided by your wisdom. Every decision I make is aligned with your will. Every challenge I face is met with your strength. I do not walk alone, for you are with me always, as close as my own breath. I draw upon your infinite power, knowing that it is limitless and ever present. Father, I release all resistance. I release the need to struggle, to strive, to force. I let go of all thoughts that do not serve me, all beliefs that limit me, and all emotions that weigh me down. I choose instead to dwell in the peace and certainty of your presence. I choose to focus on what is true, that the solution is already here, and that all is well. Thank you, Father, for the gift of trust, which allows me to rest in the assurance of your love. Thank you for the gift of imagination, which allows me to create and experience the life I desire. Thank you for the gift of faith, which allows me to see beyond the seen and believe in the unseen. Thank you for the gift of your presence, which is my constant source of strength, peace, and joy. I end this prayer in a state of gratitude, for I know that it is already done. The solution is not coming, it is here. The answer is not on its way, it has already arrived. I walk forward now in faith, knowing that my steps are guided, my path is clear, and my desires are fulfilled. I live in the joy and peace of knowing that all is well, and that your divine plan is unfolding perfectly in my life. Amen. What if I told you that confronting a narcissist head-on is like stepping into a storm unprepared? It feels righteous, it feels necessary, but in the end you are left soaked in frustration, battered by their manipulations, and disoriented by their twisted reality. You see, narcissists thrive on chaos. They are masters of deception, architects of emotional wars, and wielders of words that cut deeper than swords. Yet here's the truth: God doesn't tell us to call them out. He doesn't tell us to match fire with fire. He gives us a higher path, a path that doesn't destroy us but frees us. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, why do we feel the need to expose them? Is it justice we seek, or is it the hope that somehow they will change? We tell ourselves, if I just say the right thing, they'll finally see their reflection in the mirror. But let me tell you this, they won't see it. They can't. The truth you try to offer them is the very truth they are built to reject. Calling out a narcissist is like planting seeds in barren soil. Nothing good will ever grow there. God, in His infinite wisdom, understands something we often forget. The battles we fight in life are not against flesh and blood, but against powers far deeper, far darker, and far more cunning. He doesn't ask us to fight with our fists or with our words. He asks us to fight with our spirit, to rise above, to silence the chaos and trust Him to do what we cannot. So here's the question. If God says not to call out a narcissist, then what does He say to do instead? You see, this isn't about weakness, it's about wisdom. It's about stepping out of their game, refusing to play by their rules, and finding the strength to protect your soul, your peace, and your purpose. Imagine for a moment that God Himself stands between you and the narcissist. What would He whisper to your heart? Would He say, shout louder so they can hear you? No. He would remind you of His promise. Be still and know that I am God. In that stillness you reclaim your power. In that stillness you rise above their traps. And in that stillness you allow God to fight the battle for you. As we move forward, I'm going to reveal 7 powerful steps God has shown us for dealing with narcissists without ever lowering ourselves to their level. These are not just strategies, they are spiritual principles. They are tools that will free you strengthen you, and allow you to walk away with your dignity and your soul. Because here's what you need to remember: you were never meant to be enslaved by someone else's brokenness. Guard your heart and energy. In the book of Proverbs, we are given a profound piece of wisdom. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Think about that for a moment. Everything you do, your joy, your strength, your relationships, your dreams flows from your heart. And if your heart is unguarded, if it is left vulnerable to the chaos and manipulation of others, then everything you hold dear is at risk. When dealing with a narcissist, this verse becomes a lifeline. Why? Because a narcissist doesn't just want your attention, they want your energy. They want to occupy your mind, your emotions, and your soul, leaving you depleted, confused, and questioning your own worth. It doesn't matter how strong you are, how intelligent, or how grounded. If you allow them access to your heart, they will twist your kindness into weakness and your love into a burden. But here is the truth: you are not their puppet. You are God's masterpiece. You were never created to be drained by someone else's dysfunction. Your heart is sacred ground, and it must be protected with the same care and reverence you would show the temple of God, because in many ways, that's exactly what it is. The Lord lives within you, and when you allow someone toxic to access your heart unchecked, you are permitting them to disrupt what God is trying to build in you. Why narcissists target your energy? A narcissist thrives on control. They cannot survive without attention, whether it's admiration or conflict. It fuels them. They will provoke you, insult you, or pretend to be a victim just to get you to react. Why? Because your reaction gives them power. It gives them access to your energy. They see your compassion, your desire to explain yourself, and your willingness to help, and they exploit it like a thief in the night. But God did not give you a spirit of slavery. He gave you a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline, 2 Timothy 1:7. And when you recognize this, you realize that guarding your heart is not an act of fear or avoidance, it's an act of strength. It's an act of obedience to God's word. When you let a narcissist pull you into their web of arguments and emotional games, you give away pieces of your peace. You find yourself replaying conversations, questioning your reality, and explaining yourself over and over again. Your mind becomes consumed. Your spirit grows weary. And the dreams God planted within you begin to fade into the background. Can you see how dangerous that is? The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, John 10:10, and sometimes he uses people to do it. But Jesus said, "I have come that you may have life, and have it abundantly." Guarding your heart and energy is your way of saying, "I will not let anyone steal what God has given me." To guard your heart, you must first recognize that you cannot control a narcissist, but you can control what you give them. Every argument you engage in, every apology you offer for things you didn't do, and every attempt to fix them drains your God-given energy. You were not created to be a fixer of broken people who refuse to see their brokenness. That's God's job, not yours. Narcissists will create storms and invite you to stand in the rain. Don't do it. Learn to emotionally detach from their words, their provocations, and their attempts to manipulate you. Imagine yourself as an anchor planted in calm waters. No matter how strong the waves crash around you, you remain unmoved. That is what guarding your heart looks like. Jesus himself often withdrew from those who sought to trap him with their words. He chose silence over debate and wisdom over conflict. One of the greatest mistakes we make is believing that we must earn a narcissist's approval. But remember this, their approval is a moving target. No matter how much you give, they will demand more. No matter how much you love, they will make you feel like it isn't enough. Stop trying to prove yourself to people who are determined to misunderstand you. Guarding your heart means understanding that your worth is already established by God, not by anyone else. Pray that God gives you the wisdom to see the narcissist's tactics for what they are: distractions. The enemy uses toxic people to pull you off course, but when you guard your heart, You see the bigger picture. You recognize that your energy is a limited resource, and it must be spent on the things that align with God's purpose for your life. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They allow love to flow in and out, but they keep toxicity from entering. When you say no to a narcissist, you are not being unkind, you are being obedient to God's call to protect your heart. Jesus himself had boundaries. He loved people, but he did not let their chaos dictate his purpose. God's command to guard your heart is not just for your protection, it's for your growth. When you let go of toxic battles, when you stop giving away your energy to people who will never value it, you create space for God to work in your life. You create space for healing. You create space for peace. You create space for purpose. Ask yourself this: what could you accomplish if you stopped allowing the narcissist to occupy your mind and emotions? What dreams would you pursue? What joy would you reclaim? What peace would you walk in? Guarding your heart is an act of faith. It is trusting God to deal with the narcissist while you focus on his plan for your life. When you release that burden, you will feel lighter. You will feel free. And that freedom is where God does his best work. Choose silence over argument. There is a verse in Exodus 14:14 that says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Pause and let those words settle in your spirit. You do not have to fight every battle. You do not have to respond to every insult, every false accusation, or every attempt to provoke you. There is divine strength in silence, a strength that confuses those who expect you to react and pulls you out of the storm they've created. When you argue with a narcissist, you lose, no matter how right you are. They are not arguing to understand you. They are arguing to dominate you, to wear you down, and to trap you in a cycle where they always hold the upper hand. They don't hear your words, they twist them. They don't see your truth, they reject it. And every time you engage, you lose a little more of your purpose. God teaches us that silence is not cowardice, it is wisdom. Jesus himself, when confronted by accusers and liars, did not fight back with rage. In Matthew 27:12-14, when he was falsely accused before Pilate, the Bible says, "But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor." Jesus knew his silence carried power. It revealed the truth without a single word being spoken, and it confounded those who sought to destroy him. Silence removes the narcissist's power over you. You see, narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. When you yell, they smirk because they pulled you into their chaos. When you explain yourself, they twist your words. When you defend yourself, they accuse you further. It's a trap. And every time you respond, you give them another opportunity to control you. But when you choose silence, you rob them of their weapon. You show them that they cannot provoke you. You rise above. The world tells us to clap back, to respond to every insult, to stand up and defend ourselves. But God tells us to protect our peace. Silence is an act of surrender, not to the narcissist, but to God. When you refuse to engage, you are saying, "Lord, this battle is yours." You are placing the situation in his hands, and his justice is always greater than yours. A narcissist's power comes from your reactions. They poke, prod, and provoke until you explode. And then they point at you and say, "See, look how unstable you are." But when you refuse to respond, when you choose calm over chaos, their true nature is revealed. Without your reactions, they have nothing to manipulate, and their behavior becomes clear to everyone around them. Silence requires discipline. It requires self-control and trust in God's timing. Proverbs 17:27 says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered." When you choose silence, you are not being weak, you are growing stronger. You are learning to control your emotions, to protect your spirit, and to rely on God's wisdom instead of your own. When the narcissist tries to provoke you, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you are in control of your emotions. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. You don't owe anyone a response. especially someone who is determined to misunderstand you. If you must say something, let it be short, calm, and firm. Refuse to be drawn into debates that go nowhere. When you feel the urge to defend yourself, turn to prayer. Ask God to give you peace, to protect your heart, and to handle the situation for you. The Bible says in Philippians 4:6, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Walking away is not defeat, it is power. It says, "I will not let you control me." Remove yourself from the situation, physically or emotionally, and choose peace. Silence is a shield. It protects your heart, preserves your peace, and allows God to fight on your behalf. It is the ultimate act of strength and faith. When you learn to choose silence over arguments, you stop giving the narcissist power, and you begin to reclaim the life God intended for you, one filled with peace, purpose, and freedom. There is something deeply liberating about prayer, something that goes beyond what we see and feel in the natural world. When you're dealing with a narcissist, the temptation is to focus all your energy on fixing them, on convincing them to see your perspective, or on exposing their behavior. But let me ask you this: how much has it helped? Has it ever brought you peace? Has it ever softened their heart? You see, the more you focus on changing them, the more you bind yourself to their dysfunction. It becomes a cycle, one where you are always striving, always explaining, always hoping for a breakthrough that never comes. But here's the truth: it is not your job to fix them. It is not your burden to carry. God calls us to pray, not because prayer changes the narcissist, but because prayer changes us. It frees us. It shifts our focus from their chaos to God's peace. When you pray for someone who has hurt you, you are not excusing their behavior. You are not saying it's okay. You are saying, "I trust God to deal with this. I trust Him to heal what I cannot heal, to fix what I cannot fix, and to fight what I cannot fight." That kind of surrender is not weakness, it is the ultimate act of strength. It is acknowledging that you cannot control anyone else, but you can control how you respond. And your response is to turn to the one who holds all power in his hands. Praying for a narcissist feels impossible at first. Why would you pray for someone who has caused you so much pain? Why would you ask God to bless someone who has manipulated, belittled, and drained you? But here is the key. You are not praying to change them, you are praying to release them. You are letting go of the anger, the resentment, and the burden of trying to make them see what they refuse to see. You are placing them in God's hands where they belong. You are saying, "Lord, I can't carry this anymore, but I know you can." And when you release that burden, you feel the weight lift from your shoulders. You feel peace return to your spirit. Jesus set this example for us on the cross. As he hung there, beaten, mocked, and betrayed, he could have called down fire from heaven. He could have exposed every lie and every sin of those who crucified him. But instead, "Father, for they do not know what they are doing," Luke 23:34. Think about that. Jesus prayed for those who persecuted him, not because they deserved it, but because he understood the power of surrender. He understood that harboring anger and resentment would only distract him from his purpose. His focus was not on their hatred, but on God's plan. When you pray for a narcissist, you break the hold they have over your heart. You stop allowing their actions to define your emotions. You take back the power they tried to steal and you hand it to God where it belongs. Prayer transforms you. It softens the bitterness that can take root in your soul. It heals the wounds that their words and actions have left behind. It reminds you that God sees everything and nothing escapes His justice. He knows your pain. He knows the truth. And He will deal with it in His perfect timing. There is a verse in Romans 12:19 that says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." When you try to fight back, when you try to fix or expose them, you are stepping into God's territory. But when you pray, you are stepping out of the way and allowing Him to work. And let me tell you this, God's justice is far greater than yours. His ways are higher. His timing is perfect. Praying for a narcissist does not mean you allow them back into your life. It does not mean you ignore their behavior. Boundaries are still essential. Protection is still necessary. But prayer allows you to release the emotional hold they have over you. It allows you to forgive not for their sake but for yours. Forgiveness is not about saying what they did was right. It's about freeing yourself from the prison of bitterness. It's about refusing to let their brokenness break you. As you begin to pray, you may not feel an immediate shift. That's okay. Keep praying. Keep releasing. Keep trusting. Each time you pray, you are chipping away at the chains that have held you captive. You are inviting God into the situation, and where He is, there is freedom. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 3:17, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Freedom from anger. Freedom from resentment. Freedom from the need to fix someone who refuses to change. And here's the miracle. As you pray, God begins to work not just in them, but in you. He begins to heal your heart, to strengthen your spirit, and to renew your mind. He begins to remind you of who you are, His beloved child, fearfully and wonderfully made. A narcissist may try to diminish your worth, but God restores it. They may try to control your narrative, but God writes a better story. And in the quiet moments of prayer, He whispers to your heart, I see you. I love you. I will fight for you. So pray, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Pray, not to change them, but to release them. Pray because prayer is your weapon, your refuge, and your path to freedom. Let God handle the battle, and you will find the strength to rise above. There is a profound and undeniable power in setting boundaries, a power that honors who you are and who God created you to be. Boundaries are not walls that isolate you, they are gates that protect you. They are declarations of self-respect, reminders to the world and to yourself that your peace, your heart, and your mind are sacred. When you deal with a narcissist, boundaries are not optional, they are essential. Without boundaries, you are left exposed, vulnerable to manipulation, and constantly at the mercy of their chaos. God Himself is the author of boundaries. From the beginning of creation, He set boundaries for the oceans, telling the waves, this far you may come and no farther, Job 38:11. He established seasons, night and day, and placed limits on time itself. Why? Because boundaries create order out of chaos. They allow life to thrive. When God tells us to guard our hearts, when He calls us to be wise as serpents yet innocent doves, He is instructing us to set boundaries not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Narcissists will test every limit you set. They will push, manipulate, and guilt trip you into believing that boundaries are selfish. But let me remind you of this, boundaries are not selfish, they are spiritual. They are a way of honoring the temple of the Holy Spirit within you. Your mind, your body, your emotions, and your peace are precious in the eyes of God. You do not owe anyone access to those parts of you, especially someone who uses them to harm or control you. When you don't set boundaries, you give the narcissist permission to continue their destructive behavior. You become their emotional punching bag, their source of supply, and the fuel for their chaos. But when you establish clear, firm boundaries, you disrupt their control. You stop being a pawn in their game and start reclaiming your power. Boundaries say, I will no longer allow you to use my heart as a battleground. Now, setting boundaries does not mean the narcissist will accept them. In fact, they will resist. They will attack you, accuse you, and try to make you feel guilty. They may call you selfish, uncaring, or unloving. But do not let their words shake you. When someone cannot manipulate you anymore, they will often try to shame you into submission. Stand firm. Your worth is not determined by their opinion. It is determined by God, and God says you are worthy of love, respect, and peace. Consider how Jesus lived His life. He loved people deeply, but He did not allow their brokenness to derail His mission. He set boundaries when needed. When the Pharisees tried to trap him with their questions, he often refused to engage. When people rejected him, he moved on to those who were willing to listen. And when he needed rest, he withdrew to quiet places to pray. Jesus understood that his time, energy, and purpose were too valuable to be wasted on those who would only bring chaos and destruction. You too have a purpose. Your life has meaning. Your peace is priceless. A narcissist will try to convince you that setting boundaries is cruel. But the truth is, boundaries are a form of love. They are loving toward yourself because they honor the person God created you to be. They are loving toward the narcissist because they refuse to enable their toxic behavior. You see, when you allow someone to cross your boundaries, you are not helping them, you are enabling their brokenness. By setting boundaries, you say, I love you enough to not let you destroy me. Practical boundaries look different for everyone, but the principles remain the same. Maybe it means limiting contact, refusing to engage in pointless arguments, or walking away when conversations turn toxic. Maybe it means saying no to their demands even when it feels uncomfortable. Maybe it means protecting your time, your energy, and your heart from their manipulation. Whatever boundaries you set, hold them firmly. Do not waver. A boundary that is repeatedly crossed is no boundary at all. And here's the key: do not feel guilty. Guilt is one of the narcissist's greatest weapons. They will use it to manipulate you into opening the door you've closed. But remember, guilt does not come from God. The Bible tells us in Romans 8:1, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. You do not need to feel guilty for protecting your peace. You do not need to explain yourself to someone who refuses to respect you. Your boundaries are your right, and they are necessary for your healing. As you set boundaries, lean on God for strength. Pray for His wisdom to know where to draw the line and for His courage to hold it firm. The narcissist will fight back, but God is your defender. When you feel weak, remember the words of Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You are not alone in this battle. God is standing with you, strengthening you to protect what He has placed inside of you. Setting boundaries is an act of faith. It is trusting that God will deal with the narcissist while you focus on the life He has called you to live. It is refusing to let someone else's brokenness determine your joy, your peace, or your purpose. It is saying, I am a child of God, and I will not allow anyone to treat me as less. The moment you set boundaries, you take the first step toward freedom. You stop living on their terms and start living on God's terms. You reclaim the peace that was stolen from you. And that peace, that is where God's presence is found. For He is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Respond, don't react. It's such a simple phrase, yet it carries profound wisdom. When you are dealing with a narcissist, this distinction can mean the difference between walking away with your peace or being dragged to their emotional battlefield. A narcissist thrives on reactions, your anger, your frustration, your confusion. They want you to react because your reaction gives them power. It allows them to twist the narrative, to play the victim, and to make you look like the unstable one. But when you respond instead of react, you take back control. You strip them of the fuel they need to keep the fire of chaos burning. To understand this, let's consider the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is immediate, emotional, and often unfiltered. It comes from a place of frustration, hurt, or anger. It's like a spark that ignites the flames of conflict. When a narcissist insults you, accuses you, or pushes your buttons, your natural instinct might be to react. You want to defend yourself, to correct their lies, to make them see the truth. But what happens when you do? You find yourself pulled into an argument you can't win, where logic is twisted and emotions are manipulated. The narcissist walks away satisfied, having achieved their goal to control your emotions. The response, on the other hand, is intentional. It comes from a place of calm, clarity, and strength. When you respond, you pause. You take a breath. You give yourself the space to choose how you want to act. You don't let their words dictate your behavior. You let wisdom guide you. A response says, I am in control of myself. You will not pull me into your storm. And here is the truth. When you respond instead of react, you confuse the narcissist. They expect you to explode, to yell, to defend yourself. But when you remain calm, when you choose silence or speak with purpose, you rob them of their weapon. The Bible teaches us this principle time and time again. Proverbs 15:1 says, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. God knows that reacting in anger or frustration only escalates the situation. It gives the narcissist exactly what they want, an emotional response that fuels their control. But a gentle answer or no answer at all diffuses their power. It leaves them with nothing to manipulate. Think of Jesus when he was confronted by his enemies. The Pharisees would come at him with accusations, traps, and questions designed to provoke him. Yet Jesus never reacted. He didn't yell. He didn't defend himself unnecessarily. Instead, he responded with wisdom, often with silence or with a question of his own that revealed the truth. In Matthew 26:62-63, when he was falsely accused before the high priest, it says, then the high priest stood up and said to Jesus, are you not going to answer? What is this testimony that these men are bringing against you? But Jesus remained silent. Why? Because his silence was more powerful than any defense he could have given. His restraint exposed their lies and revealed his strength. The same principle applies when dealing with a narcissist. When they hurl accusations, when they provoke you, when they twist the truth to make you look like the villain, your greatest weapon is your calm, response or no response at all. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It shows that you will not allow their words or behavior to control you. It shows that you are grounded, strong, and anchored in God's truth. But how do you learn to respond instead of react? It starts with self-awareness. You must learn to recognize your triggers, the words, the actions, or the behaviors that set you off. A narcissist knows your buttons, and they will press them relentlessly. But when you are aware of your triggers, you can prepare yourself. You can remind yourself, I am not obligated to react. I can choose my response. Next, pause before you speak. This simple act of pausing gives you the power to reclaim control. When you feel anger rising or confusion setting in, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will responding in anger help me, or will it only escalate the situation? Often the answer is clear. That moment of pause allows the Holy Spirit to guide your words and your actions. James 1:19 says, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. This is not just practical advice, it is spiritual wisdom. When you pause, when you listen, and when you respond with calm, you align yourself with God's strength instead of your emotions. Another key is to set an emotional boundary. Remind yourself that their words do not define you. A narcissist's insults, accusations, or manipulations are reflections of their brokenness, not your worth. They are trying to project their own pain onto you. Don't accept it. Instead, stand firm in the truth of who God says you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, Psalm 139:14. You are loved. You are strong. You are not defined by their chaos. Finally, pray for wisdom and strength. Dealing with a narcissist is not easy. It requires supernatural patience, clarity, and discernment. Ask God to give you the strength to remain calm in the face of provocation. Ask Him to help you respond with wisdom instead of reacting in anger. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. When you invite God into the situation, His peace becomes your shield. Responding instead of reacting is a spiritual discipline. It requires you to rise above the narcissist's tactics and to walk in the strength God provides. It reminds you that you are not controlled by their chaos, but by God's peace. It allows you to hold your dignity, to protect your heart, and to leave the battle in God's hands. The narcissist may expect you to crumble, but when you respond with calm and clarity, you show them and yourself that your strength comes from a higher source, and that strength cannot be shaken. As we come to the end of this journey, I want you to take a moment and reflect on everything we have uncovered. When dealing with a narcissist, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, powerless, and trapped in a cycle of frustration and confusion. But hear me clearly, you are not powerless, you are not defeated, and you are not alone. God has already given you the tools to rise above their chaos. He has shown you a path that is not paved with anger, conflict, or despair, but with wisdom, strength, and peace. The battle you face is not just physical, it is spiritual. And spiritual battles are not won with human weapons. They are won by trusting God, guarding your heart, setting boundaries, choosing silence, responding with wisdom, and releasing the burden to Him through prayer. Every time you choose peace over chaos, every time you refuse to play their game, every time you put your trust in God, instead of trying to fix them, you are reclaiming your power. You are stepping into the freedom that God has called you to live in. Remember this, a narcissist's behavior does not define your worth. Their words do not define your identity. You are not who they say you are who God says you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are strong. You are chosen. You are deeply loved by the one who created you, and nothing, no manipulation, no insult, no chaos can change that truth. So when the narcissist tries to provoke you, let your heart remember this. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. You do not have to engage. You do not have to prove yourself. God sees you. He knows the battles you've faced, the tears you've cried, and the strength it has taken to stand. And He promises that He will never leave you nor forsake you. As you move forward, walk with confidence in this truth. You are not a victim, you are victorious. You are no longer bound by their chaos because you have chosen God's peace. You are no longer defined by their brokenness because you have chosen healing. You are no longer trapped by their control because you have handed the battle over to the one who cannot be defeated. Today, let this be your declaration. I will not be enslaved by someone else's brokenness. I will guard my heart. I will protect my peace. I will trust God to fight my battles. When you do this, you don't just survive, you thrive. You rise above. And in doing so, you inspire others to find their strength, their voice, and their peace as well. So I leave you with this final thought. Never call out a narcissist, because God has called you to something greater. He has called you to rise above, to walk with wisdom, to live in peace, and to trust Him fully. Let go of the need to fight battles you were never meant to fight. And let God be your defender. Because when you step back, He steps in. And when God steps in, victory is already assured. May you walk forward with strength, peace, and confidence, knowing that the one who is in you is greater than anything that comes against you. Let His peace guard your heart. Let His wisdom guide your steps. And let His love remind you of who you truly are, a child of God, unshakable, unbreakable, and free. Amen. For the next 30 days, repeat these words with deep feeling, for they are the key to unlocking your greatest potential. It's not enough to simply say them. You must believe them, feel them, and live them. These words are powerful because they are a reflection of your true self, your divine nature. I am the creator of my reality. I possess all the power within me to shape my world. Say these words every day, morning and night. As you do, imagine that what you desire is already a part of your life. Don't wait for the world to change first. You must change from within. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Every thought, every feeling, every word you speak sends ripples into the universe, shaping your experience. By repeating these words, you are affirming your sovereignty over your life, your destiny, your future. It's easy to doubt, to let circumstances dictate your actions. But I tell you now, your circumstances are not your truth. They are simply the result of past thoughts and beliefs. When you repeat these words with unwavering faith, you are planting seeds of change. The mind is a garden and you are the gardener. Choose the thoughts that will grow into the reality you desire. It may seem hard at first, especially if you've been conditioned to believe otherwise. But remember this, the power to change is always within you. The external world is only a mirror reflecting the beliefs and feelings that you hold about yourself. Change the beliefs and the reflection will change. For 30 days, say these words with all the conviction you can muster. Close your eyes. Feel the truth of them in every cell of your being and trust in their power. You are not waiting for life to give you permission to succeed. You are not waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, or the right person. You are already whole, complete, and capable. Your word is waiting for you to claim it. Let this 30-day journey be the start of your transformation. Speak these words with faith and conviction, knowing that as you do, you are planting the seeds of your future success. The change you seek is already yours. All you have to do is believe it. Repeat these words with feeling and let them guide you to a life of limitless possibility. For the next 30 days, repeat these words with deep feeling, for they are the key to unlocking your greatest potential. It's not enough to simply say them. You must believe them, feel them, and live them. These words are powerful because they are a reflection of your true self, your divine nature. When you make a commitment to repeat these words each day, you are engaging in a practice that goes beyond your affirmation. You are creating a vibration that resonates with the deepest part of your being. As you repeat them, they begin to sink deeper into your subconscious mind, transforming the way you think, act, and respond to the world around you. Repetition is one of the most powerful tools you can use in your journey of self-transformation. It might seem simple, but the effect it has on your mind is profound. By repeating these words every day, morning and night, you are reprogramming your mind, slowly but surely replacing old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. Every time you say them, you are making a statement to the universe, affirming that you are the creator of your reality. The more you say them, the more they become your truth. As you repeat these words, let them echo through every fiber of your being. Don't just say them mechanically, feel them, live them, and allow them to become a part of who you are. The mind works in mysterious ways, and repetition has the power to bypass the critical faculties of the conscious mind, directly reaching the subconscious. This is where true change begins. When you repeat these words with conviction, you are opening the door to a new mindset, one where you recognize your own power and limitless potential. It's not about waiting for a sign or external validation. It's about knowing deep down that the power to change, to create, and to manifest is already within you. You are setting the stage for the life you truly desire, and each repetition brings you one step closer to realizing that truth. In the beginning, it may feel strange, even uncomfortable, especially if you've spent years telling yourself something different. But this is part of the process. It is through repetition that the subconscious mind starts to accept the new beliefs you are planting. The more you say these words, the more they will become your reality. The external world may not change overnight, but your internal world will begin to shift, and that is where transformation starts. Keep repeating these words day after day and watch as your life begins to align with the truth you are declaring. Each repetition is a small but powerful step toward your future, a future where you are the creator of your reality. For the next 30 days, repeat these words with deep feeling, for they are the key to unlocking your greatest potential. It's not enough to simply say them. You must believe them, feel them, and live them. These words are powerful because they are a reflection of your true self, your divine nature. When you commit to repeating them each day, you are engaging in a practice that goes beyond simple affirmation. Repetition is a tool that allows these words to transform from surface level concepts into deep, ingrained truths. Repetition has a unique power. It works like a magnet, drawing in what it is that you focus on. The more you repeat these words, the more they begin to sink into your subconscious, where true change occurs. It's through repetition that your thoughts begin to align with the beliefs and experiences you want to create. Every time you say these words, you are affirming the reality you wish to manifest. And as you do this, you create a strong internal foundation that will support the changes you desire to see in your life. This process is not instantaneous, but it is powerful. With each repetition, you are slowly reprogramming your mind and reinforcing the belief that you are the creator of your own reality. As you repeat these words, you are essentially shifting your internal landscape. You are planting seeds of belief that, with consistent nurturing, will grow into the life you desire. It's important to understand that repetition isn't just a mental exercise. It's an emotional one as well. You must speak these words with feeling, with passion, with the certainty that you are worthy of the reality you are creating. The more you invest emotionally in what you're saying, the quicker your subconscious mind will absorb it. In the beginning, it might feel awkward or even untrue, but this is part of the process. The more you repeat the words, the more you will begin to believe them. Your mind is like a sponge, soaking up whatever it is exposed to most frequently. When you consistently repeat words of empowerment, your mind starts to make them a part of your identity. You will begin to notice changes, small at first, but significant over time. The reality you are manifesting will start to reflect the thoughts and beliefs you've been repeating. Repetition is a tool, a bridge between your current self and the self you are becoming. By repeating these words daily, you are actively stepping into the role of the creator of your life. Each day, you reinforce your power and the transformation begins to unfold. These words are not just affirmations. They are a powerful declaration of your inherent sovereignty. I am the creator of my reality is a profound statement, one that acknowledges your limitless potential and the truth that you are not a passive observer of life. You hold the key to your own destiny, and by repeating this phrase, you are stepping into the role of a conscious creator. You are asserting your ability to shape your world, to bring forth the experiences, relationships, and opportunities you desire. The very act of claiming this truth shifts your perception of yourself and your place in the world. For so long, many have been conditioned to believe that life happens to them, that circumstances, people, and external forces control their outcomes. But this belief is a lie. You are not at the mercy of the world around you. In fact, the world around you is a mirror of the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that you hold within. When you declare that you are the creator of your reality, you are rejecting the notion that you are a victim of circumstance. Instead, you are embracing the understanding that your inner world directly influences your outer world. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and your actions are what shape the experiences that come into your life. By repeating this empowering phrase, you are reminding yourself every day of your creative power. You are reinforcing the idea that you are in control of your life and that you have the ability to manifest your desires, regardless of any current challenges or limitations. It doesn't matter what has happened in the past or what your circumstances may look like right now. Your creative power is always within you, waiting to be tapped into. The moment you declare that you are the creator of your reality, you begin to align your actions and mindset with the life you want to create. This is not about waiting for permission or approval from anyone or anything. The world will respond to you based on the energy you emit. When you affirm that you are the creator of your reality, you step into your own power, and the universe will begin to mirror that back to you. Your world will start to shift as you take full responsibility for the reality you experience. By continuing to repeat these words with belief and feeling, you are sending a clear message to yourself and to the universe. You are not just here to survive. You are here to thrive, to create and to shape your life in alignment with your highest vision. When you say the words, I am the creator of my reality, you are not waiting for the outside world to validate this truth. Instead, you are affirming it with confidence, knowing that it is your internal shift that will guide the external world to follow. Your thoughts and beliefs are the blueprint for your reality. Everything you see in your life is a reflection of what you have previously thought, felt, or believed to be true. The universe, in its infinite intelligence, responds to the frequency you emit. If your inner world is filled with doubt, fear, or limitation, that is what will be reflected back to you in your experiences. But if you choose to change your inner world by choosing thoughts that align with your true power, by believing in your ability to create, your external world must change to reflect that new energy. This is why it is so important to repeat these words with conviction. Each time you say them, you are not only reminding yourself of your power, but actively reshaping the way you think and feel. You are planting new seeds of belief in fertile soil. And over time, those beliefs will take root and begin to manifest in your life. The key to your transformation lies within you, not outside. It is through your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions that you shape the life you desire. Your inner world is the foundation upon which the life you want will be built. Change starts from within, and once you begin that inner shift, the outer world will follow suit. Belief is the foundation of everything you experience. What you believe about yourself, your life, and the world around you is what shapes your reality. If you believe that you are capable of achieving your dreams, you will find ways to move towards those dreams with confidence and determination. On the other hand, if you believe that you are not worthy or capable of reaching your goals, you will unconsciously sabotage your progress or hold yourself back. Your beliefs act as the lens through which you see the world, and the world in turn reflects back to you what you believe to be true. But belief alone is not enough. Feeling is the driving force that propels belief into action. Feeling is what gives belief its power. Without feeling, belief remains a mere intellectual concept, something that exists only in the mind. It is feeling that brings belief to life, that transforms it from a thought into a living, breathing reality. When you believe something and you feel it, you are sending out a powerful signal to the universe. Your belief alone may cause you to take small steps towards your goals, but it is the feeling that compels you to take bigger, bolder actions, to push past any obstacles that arise, and to trust that what you desire is already on its way. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in front of a mirror, looking at yourself. If you believe that you are worthy of success, but you feel deep down that you are not capable or deserving, your external circumstances will reflect that contradiction. The universe cannot bring you what you truly desire when you are sending out conflicting signals. Belief and feeling must be in alignment. When your belief and your feeling are in harmony, you radiate a clear and powerful energy that the universe responds to. The act of repeating the words, "I am the creator of my reality," is not just about saying them. It's about feeling them with every fiber of your being. You must feel the truth of those words as though they are already a reality in your life. Feel the power of creation that is within you. Feel the excitement of knowing that you are capable of achieving anything you desire. Feel the gratitude for the life you are manifesting, as though it has already come into existence. When you do this, you are activating the law of attraction. You are sending a message to the universe that you are ready to receive, and the universe will begin to align itself with that energy. But how do we cultivate the right feelings? How do we align our emotions with our beliefs so that they work together in harmony? This is where the practice of feeling comes into play. Begin by imagining your desired outcome as vividly as possible. Picture yourself living the life you want. See it, feel it, and experience it with all of your senses. If you want to manifest a new job, for example, feel the excitement of walking into your new office. Feel the pride of receiving your first paycheck. Feel the joy of contributing to a cause that is important to you. The more vividly you can create this scene in your mind, the more real it will feel to you, and the more powerful your energy will become. As you repeat the words, "I am the creator of my reality," allow yourself to connect with the feelings of empowerment, confidence, and excitement that arise within you. Allow yourself to believe that you are already living the life you desire, and feel the emotions that come with that belief. The key is to feel the feelings as though they are already true. The universe does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It responds to the energy you put out, whether that energy comes from present experiences or imagined scenarios. The more you can align your feelings with your beliefs, the quicker your reality will shift. It's important to understand that feeling is not about pretending or forcing emotions. It's about tapping into the emotional frequency of the life you want to create. It's about allowing yourself to feel the excitement, the joy, the fulfillment, and the gratitude that will come when your desires are realized. It's about stepping into the emotions of the future and bringing them into the present. This is where the power lies. When you can truly feel your desires as though they are already here, you activate the creative power within you. The process of aligning belief and feeling is not something that happens overnight. It takes practice, patience, and commitment. There may be days when you don't feel aligned, when doubts creep in, and when your mind tells you that what you desire is impossible. This is natural. But it is in these moments that your true power is tested. When doubt arises, return to the words, "I am the creator of my reality," repeat them, and allow yourself to feel their truth. Don't give in to the feelings of lack or limitation. Acknowledge them, but then shift your focus back to the belief and feeling that align with your desires. Remember, belief and feeling are like two sides of the same coin. Belief without feeling is weak. Feeling without belief is unfocused. When you combine the two, you create a powerful force that can transform your life. The universe does not respond to half-hearted wishes or idle thoughts. It responds to the energy that you put out with conviction and passion. As you continue to repeat these words with belief and feeling, something remarkable will begin to happen. Your subconscious mind will begin to accept the truth of your affirmations as reality. Your actions will shift in alignment with your new beliefs. You will begin to notice opportunities that were previously hidden from you. You will find yourself naturally moving in the direction of your desires. The world around you will start to reflect the new energy you are radiating. Your reality will begin to change, not because the world outside of you has changed, but because you have changed. You have aligned your inner world with the life you want to create, and the universe has no choice but to mirror that alignment back to you. The combination of belief and feeling is the key to unlocking your creative power. This is how you manifest your desires. This is how you create the life you truly want. By believing in your ability to create and feeling the emotions of that creation, as though they are already real, you are activating the law of attraction and setting the stage for your transformation. Keep repeating the words, "I am the creator of my reality," and let those words become the truth that guides your every thought, feeling, and action. When you do this, you will begin to witness the incredible power you have to shape your own life. To fully understand the significance of taking full responsibility for your reality, it is important to recognize the vast and transformative power that lies within each of us. Many people live their lives feeling as though they are controlled by external forces, circumstances, people, or situations, and they passively react to the events unfolding around them. This mindset is not only disempowering, but it also perpetuates the illusion that life is something that happens to you, rather than something that is created by you. However, the truth is that when you take full responsibility for your reality, you shift from a place of victimhood into a place of power and mastery over your own life. Taking responsibility for your reality means understanding that you are the creator of your experience, and that every thought, belief, and feeling you entertain plays a role in the world that manifests around you. It means that you no longer view yourself as helpless or at the mercy of the world. Instead, you embrace the knowledge that you are the one who has the ability to shape, mold, and transform your life based on the energy you project. This realization comes with great freedom, because once you accept that you are the creator, you also realize that you have the power to change anything about your life that no longer serves you. You are no longer bound by the limitations of the past or the opinions of others. You are free to create a new story for yourself. Taking responsibility for your reality begins with accepting the truth that everything in your life is a reflection of your internal state. If you look around and see a life that you are not satisfied with, whether it's a job, relationship, health, or financial situation, understand that these external conditions are merely mirroring the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that you hold within. Every thought you think is a creative act. Every belief you have shapes the life you live. If you want to change what you see in your external world, you must begin by changing the way you think, believe, and feel. This is the first step toward full responsibility for your reality. Many people are reluctant to take responsibility for their lives because they believe that doing so means they must accept blame or fault for their circumstances. They might feel that if they take responsibility for their reality, they are somehow acknowledging that they are to blame for the challenges they face. However, taking responsibility is not about blame, it is about empowerment. It is not about looking back and regretting past choices, it is about choosing to empower yourself in the present moment to create the future you want. You have the ability to change your thoughts and beliefs, and with that shift, you change the world around you. Once you embrace this level of responsibility, you stop seeing yourself as a passive observer of your life and begin to see yourself as the active creator. When you begin to understand that your internal state is creating your external reality, you realize that you are never stuck. No matter what challenges you are facing, you have the power to change your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions to create a new outcome. This means that instead of reacting to the world around you, you take proactive control over how you respond to situations. You stop blaming others for the things that happen in your life and instead ask yourself, what is it in my thoughts, beliefs, or feelings that has attracted this experience? This simple question opens the door to self-awareness and transformation. Taking full responsibility for your reality also means letting go of the idea that the world owes you something. Many people wait for life to hand them what they want, expecting that somehow, someone or something will come along to fix their problems. But this mindset only keeps you in a state of powerlessness. When you take full responsibility for your life, you recognize that you are the one who must create the circumstances you desire. The world does not owe you anything. Instead, you are the one who must give to the world by giving your energy, your focus, and your beliefs to what you want to create. Life is not something that happens to you, it is something that you actively participate in creating. The more you embrace this concept of personal responsibility, the more you will see opportunities to create and transform every aspect of your life. When you stop giving your power away to people, circumstances, or past experiences, you open yourself to a world of endless possibilities. No longer do you need to wait for permission to live the life you desire. No longer are you bound by the chains of your past mistakes or failures. You are free to start anew, to create a new reality based on the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions you choose to embrace. Another crucial aspect of taking responsibility for your reality is realizing that you are not at the mercy of other people's opinions or judgments. So often people live their lives seeking approval or validation from others. They allow the opinions of family members, friends, or co-workers to dictate their decisions, and this keeps them stuck in a life that is not truly their own. When you take full responsibility for your reality, you free yourself from the need for external validation. You no longer need to seek approval from anyone else because you know that the only opinion that matters is your own. You are no longer defined by the expectations of others. You are free to live according to your own vision and purpose. At the core of taking responsibility for your life is the understanding that you are not a victim of your circumstances. Life may present challenges, and you may face obstacles along the way, but these challenges are not a reflection of your worth or abilities. They are simply opportunities for growth. When you take full responsibility for your reality, you no longer see these challenges as obstacles that you must endure. Instead, you see them as opportunities to expand, to strengthen your resolve, and to deepen your understanding of your creative power. With each challenge you face, you are learning more about who you are and what you are capable of achieving. Every difficulty you encounter is simply a stepping stone on the path to your greatest transformation. When you take responsibility for your life, you also begin to understand the power of your emotions. Emotions are not something to be suppressed or ignored. They are a powerful energy that is constantly influencing your reality. Emotions are a direct reflection of your thoughts and beliefs. When you feel fear, doubt, or frustration, it is a sign that your thoughts and beliefs are out of alignment with your desires. When you feel joy, excitement, or gratitude, it is a sign that you are in alignment with the energy of creation. Taking responsibility for your reality means being aware of your emotions and using them as a tool to guide you back into alignment with your true desires. If you feel negative emotions, take a moment to ask yourself, what thoughts or beliefs am I holding on to that are creating this feeling? Then, consciously choose to shift your thoughts and emotions in a more positive direction. When you do this, you align yourself with the energy of creation, and your reality begins to shift in ways that are in alignment with your true desires. Another key aspect of taking responsibility for your reality is accepting that everything you experience is a result of your own choices. Every decision you make, whether conscious or unconscious, plays a role in the reality you create. When you take full responsibility for your life, you acknowledge that you are the one who has made every choice that has led you to where you are today. This might feel uncomfortable at first, but it is incredibly empowering. It means that you are not at the mercy of life's circumstances. You are the one who has created your reality, and you have the power to make different choices moving forward. Taking responsibility for your reality also involves letting go of the need to control every aspect of your life. You are not in control of everything, and that's okay. The universe has its own rhythm and flow, and sometimes things don't unfold exactly as you expect them to. However, when you take responsibility for your life, you understand that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are the only things you can truly control. You may not be able to control the actions of others or the events that occur in your life, but you can always control your response to them. When you stop trying to control everything, you free yourself from the stress and anxiety that come with trying to micromanage your circumstances. Instead, you embrace the flow of life and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. In taking full responsibility for your reality, you learn to trust in your own power. You realize that the universe is constantly supporting you, and that everything that happens is an opportunity for growth. With this understanding, you step into the role of the creator of your life, fully empowered to design the future you desire. You are no longer a passive observer, waiting for life to happen to you. You are an active participant, using your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions to shape the world around you. This is the true essence of personal responsibility, recognizing that you have the power to create and transform your reality with every thought and every choice you make. When you take full responsibility for your reality, you realize that you are the one who is responsible for your happiness, your success, and your fulfillment. No one else can give these things to you. They are not dependent on external circumstances, but on the choices you make each and every day. The more you accept this responsibility, the more you will see your life transform in ways that align with your deepest desires. The power has always been within you. Now it is time to fully embrace it and create the life you were always meant to live. When you begin to focus on living in the end, you step into one of the most profound and transformative understandings of life. To live in the end means that you are no longer waiting for your desire to come into being. You are no longer focused on how it will happen or when it will happen. Instead, you assume the state of already having what you want. You live in the energy of completion, as though your desire is already a reality. This is not wishful thinking or daydreaming. This is a deep and powerful shift in your inner state that brings about a corresponding shift in your outer reality. Living in the end is the ultimate act of faith, the ultimate demonstration of your belief in the creative power of your imagination. Most people live their lives focusing on what they lack. They spend their days noticing what they don't have, feeling frustrated, hopeless, or anxious because their desires are still unfulfilled. When you live in this state of lack, you only perpetuate more of the same. By focusing on the absence of what you want, you are feeding energy into the very state of not having, and your life will continue to reflect that state back to you. The key to living in the end is shifting your awareness away from lack and placing it firmly on the feeling of already possessing your desire. Living in the end is not about forcing or manipulating your outer world to conform to your desires. Instead, it is about creating a new inner state, one of complete conviction, joy, and gratitude, as if the outcome you seek has already been achieved. Your imagination is the tool that allows you to experience this reality internally before it materializes externally. By vividly imagining the end result, you bring yourself into alignment with it. You close the gap between wanting and having. Because in your imagination, you are already there. You have already become the person who has achieved their desire. This is where the true magic happens. Your imagination becomes the bridge between your current experience and the reality you want to create. When you live in the end, you make your desire real to you on an emotional level. You feel the joy, the relief, and the excitement of already having it. This emotional state is the key, because your feelings are the language through which you communicate with the infinite creative power that shapes your reality. The universe does not respond to your words alone, it responds to the energy of your emotions. If you continue to feel lack, doubt, or worry, you are sending out the energy of not having, but when you feel as though you already have your desire, you are sending out the energy of fulfillment, and the universe will reflect that back to you. Living in the end also means that you release any attachment to the how and the when. So many people become fixated on the details of how their desire will come to pass. They try to control every aspect of the process, believing that they must force things into place. But this is not living in the end. When you are truly living in the state of already having your desire, there is no need to worry about how it will happen. You do not question or doubt it. You simply rest in the feeling of fulfillment, trusting that the universe will take care of the rest. The how is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to remain steadfast in the feeling of already having what you desire. This is where your power lies. To live in the end is to embody a sense of unwavering confidence and faith. Imagine for a moment that you have placed an order for something you deeply desire, and you know it is already on its way to you. You don't need to chase after it or wonder whether it will arrive. You don't check the mail every 5 minutes or ask repeatedly whether it's coming. You simply trust that it is already yours and that it will arrive in perfect timing. This is the mindset you must adopt when you live in the end. You assume the state of already having it, and you let go of any need to question or doubt. You live as though it is already done, and in doing so, you call it into being. The beauty of living in the end is that it allows you to move through life with a sense of ease and joy. Instead of constantly striving, yearning, or waiting for your desires to be fulfilled, you experience the peace and contentment of knowing that your desires are already a reality. You are no longer chasing after something outside of yourself. You are living from the truth that everything you seek is already within you. This shift in perspective changes everything. It frees you from the cycle of frustration and longing, and it allows you to embody the energy of fulfillment and abundance. Living in the end requires you to trust your imagination more than your physical senses. Your senses may tell you that your desire is not yet here. You may look around and see evidence of lack or limitation. But your imagination is not bound by these limitations. Your imagination is the doorway to the infinite. And when you use it to create the feeling of already having your desire, you transcend the physical limitations of your current reality. You no longer allow your outer world to dictate your inner state. Instead, you use your inner state to transform your outer world. To live in the end is to act as though your desire is already fulfilled. This does not mean pretending or being delusional. It means embodying the version of yourself who has already achieved what you desire. How would you think, feel, and behave if your desire were already yours? What kind of thoughts would you entertain? How would you carry yourself? What actions would you take? When you begin to embody these qualities now, you align yourself with the energy of your desire, and you allow it to flow into your reality. For example, if your desire is to experience financial abundance, Living in the end means adopting the mindset and feelings of someone who is already abundant. You no longer dwell on thoughts of lack, struggle, or scarcity. Instead, you feel gratitude, confidence, and ease as though you already have all the wealth you desire. You may not yet see the evidence of this abundance in your outer world, but you do not let that deter you. You hold fast to the feeling of abundance, knowing that your outer reality will soon reflect the state of mind you have assumed. If your desire is to experience love, living in the end means assuming the feelings of being deeply loved and cherished. You imagine what it feels like to be in a loving relationship, to feel connected, appreciated, and joyful. You do not focus on the absence of love or on any past disappointments. Instead, you live in the feeling of fulfillment, as though the love you seek is already here. By doing so, you align yourself with the energy of love, and you invite it into your life. The practice of living in the end is one of the most powerful tools for creating the life you desire, because it allows you to bypass the doubts and limitations of your logical mind. Your imagination is limitless, and when you use it to assume the state of already having what you want, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. You shift your focus away from lack and place it firmly on fulfillment. This shift is the key to transformation. You do not need to earn your desires or prove yourself worthy of them. You simply need to assume the feeling of already having them, and the universe will respond accordingly. Living in the end is not always easy, because the physical world may tempt you to fall back into doubt or fear. But when you persist in the state of fulfillment, regardless of what your outer reality shows you, you demonstrate your faith and trust in the creative power that shapes your life. You do not allow yourself to be swayed by temporary appearances. You remain steadfast in the knowing that your desire is already yours, and you allow that knowing to guide your thoughts, feelings, and actions. When you live in the end, you are not waiting for something to happen in order to feel happy, fulfilled, or successful. You are choosing to feel those emotions now in the present moment. This is the secret to manifesting your desires. You must feel it before you see it. By living in the end, you align yourself with the energy of your desires, and you allow them to flow into your life with ease and grace. You no longer resist or struggle, you simply allow. You let go of doubt, worry, and fear, and you rest in the knowing that everything you desire is already yours. The moment you begin to live in the end, you change your relationship with life itself. You are no longer defined by your circumstances, you are defined by the vision you hold within. You are no longer limited by what appears to be, you are empowered by what you choose to believe. You are no longer waiting for life to give you what you want, you are creating it from within. This is the power of living in the end. You step into the role of the creator, and you shape your reality with the energy of fulfillment, joy, and unwavering faith. Everything you seek is already within you. By living in the end, you allow it to come forth into your experience,